Dr. Thomas Cowan claimed viruses are waste from cells that are poisoned. 5G caused the pandemic, and he was on disciplinary probation because he's a wingnut. Or not. Judy Mikovits discredited medical claims murine enteroviruses cause chronic fatigue syndrome because she made a simple mistake and admitted to it for the group that hired her to study chronic fatigue syndrome, trying to prove it's caused by something. Because chronic fatigue syndrome is something a lot of people go through, trying to find a cause or what causes it. Or maybe they were just being activists. But she was such an embarrassment because she just simply made a mistake or screwed up. And she was associated with stealing notebooks. Now, while that claim was dropped, there was no proof she didn't do it. There's plenty of proof she did. Dr. Dolores Cahill said that there was no such thing as a pandemic, right after it was declared to be a pandemic by pretty much everybody. The disease has the same death rate as influenza. No, it doesn't. It has a 2% death rate, and influenza is far lower. 2% death rate, no matter what you want to believe, is really fucking bad. Social distancing is unnecessary if you use, food supplements. She's probably involved in selling. She might be an alternative or something doctor, complementary and alternative medicine. Not a real doctor. I don't know. Use hydroxychloroquine and I'm presuming ultraviolet light and bleach. Dr. Lee Merritt was thrown under the bus today by somebody posting a set of comments that go on and on. I'm not sure if Dr. Lee Merritt is anti-vax or anti-fax. Okay. Osteopathic anti-vaccine autism activist Sherri Tenpenny was thrown into the pile here. Yeah, she's an activist. She's an osteopath. Osteopathological anti-vaccinationist. Stephen Lanka was also tossed into the list here by misspelling his name somehow. He did a £100,000 bet, or euro bet, and he Welshed on it. He's anti-immunization, and he wanted someone to prove to him, which obviously he's not going to let you do, he gets to be judge, jury, and executioner, that you can prove that smallpox exists or any other virus, even though you can literally dead-ass measure it. And after losing a case, so he would be forced to pay his stupid bet in Germany, because I guess they felt like being vindictive against the little bastard. Someone finally said, technically, you're not wrong, which is the best kind of not wrong in the world. No, I was wrong. Someone provided 3 or multiple papers showing the diameter of the virus and pictures of it under extreme magnification using scanning electron microscope. People are okay with scanning electron microscope. It shows nanostructures that are supposed to be antennas for your RFID 666 marker, in the viruses. But suddenly when you show what the virus looks like, because you can sure as fuck do it, oh no, they don't exist. But yeah, he's an untrustworthy, lying little shit. And when it was proven to him he was wrong, he knew he was wrong. That removes any doubt. If you ignore facts that show that you were simply wrong about something, you weren't just wrong, you were lying. And yeah, all these people can sue me, except Dr. Lee Merritt, because I'm not seeing any signs he's anti-vax, but he was thrown into a pile of people here who are anti-vax. Also included in this was a June 2020 Washington State correction. They removed a bunch of cases from the COVID-19 related deaths to create the COVID-19 caused death list so they could get the accurate count of the number of people who died. Preliminary information was taken in on any case suspected, and this became confirmed. Oh, you mean correcting information that isn't completely accurate, or acknowledging when a mistake is made like a good guy? That's called science. No, that's called conspiracy, and it's all big pharma, and fuck your science. Drink your Ovaltine. But, of course, anybody who acknowledges reality or discusses it or god-awful, puts it in the title of a YouTube video, well, fuck them, right? the World Health Organization or some other in 2019 declared the 10 health threats on Earth. It had the usual things, heart disease, blah, blah, blah. But in there, stuck in the listing of the top 10, was deaths caused by medical misinformation preventing treatment, or people attempting to stop preventative medication and preventative medicine so their lives could be salvaged. Also was cited lists of people who are part of military groups trying to kill off entire populations by telling them not to trust medical people so that they have a higher death rate, and that being acknowledged by the warlords doing it. But the worst threat they brought up out of the list was medical misinformation in modern society, in civilization as we know it. Telling people to do stupid shit like drink the Kool-Aid. It's not lime-flavored Kool-Aid. You're drinking piss. Or you're taking the piss. In the year 2020, in December, a lady named Brandy Vaughn died of natural causes. But in 2015, 5 years earlier, she started the Learn the Risk Holistic Healing Group. It's an anti-vaccine front, using false information to argue against and contradict established medical science, things you can double check yourself, and even independent groups that were formerly anti-vaccine but actually checked why they were anti-vaccine. You know, claiming there's mercury in them thar hills and checking out and finding, no, the vaccines don't have mercury in them. And immediately they were turned on by the brethren because you must repeat the words mercury and vaccine in every sentence. And you must repeat that vaccines kill children. Less often than what they're preventing, but, you know, we don't do that. And you must point out, anytime the good guys point out that this disease isn't happening anymore, you don't need to vaccinate against it, and there is a tiny risk if you vaccinate people that they'll get sick from the vaccine. I mean, being honest is, you know, something to latch onto, like a rabid dog. Rabies is a virus, by the way. Unequivocal scientific consensus on the vaccine's safety and effectiveness ratios, and immediately ignoring all of that science unless it promotes your belief system. Benefits far outweigh the risks of rare adverse reactions until the disease is eradicated, in which case you should not use the vaccines, because they do have very rare and sometimes serious adverse reactions. And you have to make sure that you have the infrastructure, the infra, to make sure that if someone has a negative response, that you have immediately a way of preventing them from getting worse. You can't just willy-nilly vaccinate people unless it's extremely rare for a reaction to happen. And if you see a bunch of reactions in, let's say, Allentown, Pennsylvania, you stop vaccinating people in Allentown because something's wrong. And if it's Detroit, it's the lead pipes, because it's always the lead pipes in Detroit. You know those lead pipes are mostly in the buildings, not something that the city and county can take out, right? If somebody says that your house has lead pipes in it, it's suddenly government overreach because you have to remove the lead. And you can't sue anybody because you are giving yourself lead poisoning. But anyway, after she died, her organization, Dancing on Her Grave, began to yell that she was part of some sort of hit group. She was a whistleblower. No, she spent 5 years with an unsuccessful campaign they're trying to revive on Facebook by claiming she's the targeted individuals and frogs are gay. And rare adverse reactions aren't rare if they're the only reactions you get out of a vaccine. And this is acknowledged by medicine. Just like in Washington State, if no one of you know this, one of the first states to have a death rate, they had to correct their death rate information because it was not correct. Again, doing things that make science work better are always have to be twisted around to be a sign that they were never valid. You were wrong 4 years ago, so you're always wrong. You thought you were right for 5 years, but you're wrong today, so you're always wrong. That last one makes sense, but only if nothing changed between then and now as far as what you were saying and what the situation was. If you're suddenly realizing at the end of the road that you've taken the wrong path, that's true. Correcting it halfway through and going on the right path doesn't change the fact that you eventually went on the right path. Twisting what the scientific method is so that you can be anti-science just means you're just being anti-science. Calling yourself a informed consent source or the Informed Consent Committee while misinforming people makes you one of the top 10 global health threats in 2019 instead of the actual informed consent organization that says, here's your fucking pamphlet, which is included with all the vaccines just about, that says, here's a list of reactions and here's how often they happen. And if you want to take this vaccine, and we want you to, you need to be aware of this. It's not just covering our ass. There is a risk. There's a risk to taking the COVID-19 vaccine. I told people if they can't get a test for it, if they've never had a reaction to anything, they're probably okay. But if you've ever had a bad reaction to anything, you should really test to see if you're going to have a bad reaction to this and skip it entirely unless they get a different method. And again, informed consent, the vaccine for coronavirus, or COVID-19 specifically, one of them uses a material in the injection, no, it's not mercury, no, it's not nanotechnology, that can have a negative reaction. And you should be able to get a test for it. And if you can't, you should skip it. That's all. And screaming at the top of your lungs, I can't breathe if I'm wearing a mask, while yelling at the top of your lungs means you're a fucking joke. So who posted this? Someone who's claiming to be censored. No, you're not being censored. You're being deplatformed. No, it's not the algorithm. You posted a bunch of commentary on my channel before that I've done asked and answered responses like this, where you posted a bunch of shit that isn't true. And you even cut and pasted some of it in here. And I deleted them because none of it checked out, and you want people to put up with you posting things that are not true. It's not a fucking opinion. Literally everything you posted was fucking not true. Some viruses tear through cells. Some cause terrible lesions in the skin. We assume they're causing an illness, when in fact they're just helping us. They're a fire break for already poisoned cells, because it's all toxins and purging and high colonics or something. I'll leave your entire comment in the description here. I'm just not going to address it the way you want. Because again, you keep posting things that are not true. And you're being vindictively contrarian about it by posting shit that isn't true about these people. Judy, Mikovits, viruses come from within, activated within our bodies, when we are poisoned by high carbon dioxide and low oxygen level. No, that's not true at all. Because you can do those effects to a person and they don't suddenly grow a virus. There is an example of a person's weakened body, or a body that has become weakened with oxygen, having viruses behave that way. But they have to be there present. They are viruses. They're not caused by this. They don't spontaneously exist as a pseudo-life form just because you don't like vaccines. And it doesn't matter that these are your heroes or that you threw one guy under the bus without him being listed as an anti-vax person, or somebody even made a comment on COVID-19 that's contrarian at all. I'm not sure why he included his name. Mindlessly following people only take information from one side. Oh, you're saying that to somebody else instead of you. Tainted institutions. Tainted love. Governments. Mainstream media. Internet. Established science. All are corporatized. Cognitively dissonant. They refuse to attempt to impartially consider evidence from any other viewpoint. They have. They've tested your claims, all of these other people's claims, and found that they are without merit, and most importantly, the individuals making the claims refuse to prove they're right. They demand you prove them wrong. That's not how science works. You're not allowed to post on my channel without me doing a rebuttal like this, and most importantly, looking up what you're claiming and posting the facts first, and then maybe if I have time for your gigantic book here that you posted, I'll get to some of your statements. I may not be able to fit your entire comment into the video. And that means I don't give a fuck if it does. You posted a bunch of lies about people and lies about subject matter. This is not your place to do it. Go elsewhere. Post some facts about one of these people. Prove their point. I've already debunked most of them. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that.